Oh, also Trump is doing, I mean, this is full Brandon, by the way. There's also a Brandon escalation ladder as well. And Trump keeps climbing up that Brandonization ladder. Trump is now hitting levels of Brandon we previously did not think he would hit. We have gone up to like 75% Brandon right now. It's not like full Brandon because he hasn't hit the Hububada yet. But if he hits the Hububada, that's when you know it's 100% Brandonization complete, right? So there's levels of Brandonization that's taking place. And I would say this is like 75% Brandon.
Iran's military this morning says it's launched a wave of drones at Israel and U.S. military bases in the region. Overnight, air raid sirens and blasts could be heard in Jerusalem. And this morning, smoke was seen over Dubai's airport. Both are signs Iran still possesses the capability to launch retaliatory strikes. Imtiaz Tayyab is in Doha, Qatar, with more on the regional impact of the war. Imtiaz, good morning.
Adriana, good morning to you. Well, in that Truth Social post, President Trump was responding to Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian's apology to Gulf states, including where we are here in Qatar, which have essentially repeatedly been hit by Iran.
Let's go, Brandon. Iran came out and hit the Brandon note. Okay. Iran came out and had their very own Brandon moment, which was really funny because, like, Arakshi, who is infinitely more reliable as far as like the civilian government side, is a much more reliable narrator of events. If you want to know exactly what's going on or what Iran is going to do, go directly to the IRGC. If you want to hear like a more westernized, more liberalized version of what they're doing, then you go to Arakshi. If you want to be confused, you go to the president. Now, the president Pezeshkian is or I keep saying his name wrong. Okay. The how do you say the president's last name? The Aussie last names are so hard. I keep butchering it. No, it's not air quotes in president right now. There is a 3-person committee that runs the country technically. Okay. Pezeshkian abi. Ulan oğlum Pezeshkian abi diyorsun da kolay mı yani bunu anlamak? Pezeshkian. Evet. So there's a 3-person committee that currently technically runs the country. It's the de facto, or it's the legal government. It's the de facto government, especially when there is no Ayatollah, because the Ayatollah sits on top of everything else. But the problem here is the IRGC is running the show. Like, if you want to know what's going to happen next, you can hear it directly from the IRGC. Because he came out, Pezeshkian came out and said, I'm really sorry about this. I feel really bad about this, all this stuff. And it's funny because I was looking at, Iranian sources and like how they responded to it. They were very pissed off. Most of the people were like, "You, how dare you say this? You pussy!" Like, there's a lot of people that are frustrated. There's a lot of people that are frustrated that he came out and made it seem like he was, made it seem like he was doing the strategic retreat, trying to engage in negotiations again, and that's obviously been a failure. There's been failure after failure. They were frustrated for that reason. The other reason why it was confusing was because, and he is the moderate force in this equation, and so is actually really at least more moderate than the IRGC. IRGC being the most like hardline. But the funniest thing was they were saying that there was one guy that I saw, like some Iranian analyst that I saw, that was saying that he's not a very good speaker, even when it comes to domestic affairs. Like, they were just shitting on him. Like, they were saying that he's just not very good at communicating his opinions. Like, they were like, just don't listen to him. Yeah, Pezeshkian is kind of our Keir Starmer, centrist, useless, and hated by all. I don't mind that much pity. I don't mind him that much. I pity him. Yeah, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place anyway. But basically, what he was what the Arakshi statement was to like explain what the Pezeshkian statement actually was supposed to imply, considering that right after the statement came out, everyone was like, oh my God, is it over? Like, is Iran no longer going to hit the Gulf? Like, are they retreating? It was not over at all. Newsflash, they kept immediately hitting the Gulf. So it turns out his statement meant very little, right? So Arakshi comes out, foreign minister, much more reliable than the president in this sort of like trying to figure out what's going on internally in Iran situation. He says, President Pezeshkian expressed openness to de-escalate within our region, provided that our neighbors' airspace, territory, and waters are not used to attack the Iranian people. Gesture to our neighbors was almost immediately killed by President Trump. President Pezeshkian's openness to de-escalation within our region, provided that our neighbors' airspace, territory, and waters are not used to attack the Iranian people, was almost immediately killed by President Trump's misinterpretation of our capabilities, determination, and intent. If Mr. Trump seeks escalation, it is precisely what our powerful armed forces have long been prepared for and what he will get. Responsibility for any intensification of Iran's exercise of self-defense will lie squarely with the U.S. administration. Mr. Trump's week-long misadventure has already cost the U.S. military $100 billion. It's probably not that high, but okay. In addition to the lives of young soldiers, when markets reopen, that cost will balloon and directly be transferred to ordinary Americans at pumping stations. Yeah, the pumping stations is where the American government pumps our asses full of cum. So that's the real pumping station that's going on. Anyway, Mr. Trump's own National Intelligence Council, representing input from the 18 intelligence agencies of the U.S., determined that war on Iran is destined to fail. I also warned Mr. Trump's envoys that war will not improve their bargaining position. Were these warnings conveyed? The American people voted to end involvement in costly quagmires in the Middle East. Instead, they have ended up with an administration that Netanyahu, after decades of failed attempts, finally managed to dupe into fighting Israel's wars. This is a war of choice pursued by a small cabal of Israel firsters, and Israel first always means America last. And then he posted this. Here is Ali Largiani's statement. We do not welcome an expansion of the war, but if Europeans intervene, we will deal with them accordingly. Yeah. Pezeshkian, I'm sorry. Please put me out of my misery. Just kill me. Khamenei from beyond the grave. Woman is a flower. Largiani. I mean, the Iranian goals here are very clear, okay? If you want to know what they want, what they consider a W in the situation, it is the defeat, or rather a strategic retreat of American assets from the region. Okay, a complete withdrawal, or at least like a very significant withdrawal of American assets from the region. They want there to never be bases around the Strait of Hormuz ever again. They don't want the Gulf states to be in line with America and Israel. And perhaps that's part of the reason why they have been pummeling Dubai the hardest. Now, you might be wondering, why the f are they hitting Dubai so much? Well, for the longest time, I've explained to you that Dubai is, or the UAE is basically Arab Israel, Muslim Israel, whatever you want to call it. Throughout the Abraham Accords and onward, the UAE has played the most significant role in increasing Israel's influence among the Arab masses, okay? The Muslim world in general. They have basically played side by side with Israel every step of the way. It got to such a degree that it even threatened Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the most significant, most consequential Gulf state, right? It's the big dog, it's the top dog in the region. And it got to such a degree that even Saudi Arabia was like, you're done. Even they soured their relationship with the UAE because of how much play the United Arab Emirates were getting from being Israel's dogs, servile dogs of the Israeli state. Okay? That's the reason why Iran keeps hitting the UAE. That's the reason why they're hitting him. Because they literally, they were the Trojan horse. They were the guys that were actively trying to engage in psyops. They were the ones who were actively doing like offensive persuasion campaigns. And that is precisely the reason why UAE has been receiving an even larger amount of bombing campaigns than Israel has, partially because it's like closer distance, easier to strike, as opposed to Israel, which is more difficult to hit. This is a funny thing that I saw as well. The regime state TV, IRIB 3, has just spent the past 20 minutes not talking about the U.S. or Israel, but about how their goal is to kill the idea of Dubai. They claim Kuwait used to be like Dubai, but it never recovered from the first Gulf War. They claim this is their goal in the UAE. Real question, how is Egypt? What's Egypt's role in all this? Egypt. What is Egypt? What's that? Is that what is that? Is that like a what the? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm Israel high. I'm Israel high. I'm Israel high. I love Israel. I love the nation state of Israel. Israel, most moral nation. Israel, best nation. Israel would never kill a single child. Okay? Israel would never kill a single child. And if Israel has killed children, let's be real, it's because they deserved it. Those kids were Hamas. Those kids were IRGC. I'm so sorry for the things that I've said. Yeah, Egypt is irrelevant. It's not. It's a non-factor. It's utterly irrelevant. Egypt has. Just wait. We'll talk a lot about Egypt in the upcoming year, possibly, if the state inevitably collapses. A lot of issues with the economy. It's a vassal state. It works. It serves America and Israel's purpose. It's basically like a holdover state at this point. It's even worse than Jordan, honestly. It's unbelievable. One of the most powerful countries of the region for so long. Again, another empire, another country with so much culture, another country with like so much to offer the rest of the world. And yet now it is not even a state. It's just a failed state. And the people are very frustrated. And I think that eventually it'll get to a degree where there will be too much instability and the state will not be able to purge the people. Egyptians are the nicest people you'll ever meet. Yeah, no, Egyptians are great. I'm just saying that they're cooked. So, getting back to the analysis, U.S. Gas prices per gallon obviously shot up here. Last week it was $2.97. Now it's $3.43. That's going to that's going to drive up prices across the board. It's also really funny because gas prices are the only thing that Donald Trump has been able to lean into as far as how he's tackling inflation. He's like, every time people talk about like inflation, Trump will be like, affordability is made up. They made up the word. No one has ever heard the word affordability before. Also, think about the gas prices. It's so good. Well, now he lost that too. So maybe the Amerifats will finally understand that, our actions do have consequences. I doubt it. They're so stupid that I don't think they'll fully understand. But that's the other side of the story. But yeah, getting back to the president's statements, not a lot of weight on these statements, except Donald Trump immediately took the opportunity to be like, see, Iran is done. They're done. They're retreating. They're pussies. They're cowards, whatever. And then they blew up a water desalination plant, which also doesn't make sense. Because like, imagine if he had the power, he had the control over the IRGC, and he actually was trying to do strategic retreat to negotiate. Why the would you bring them back in by blowing up, by going up the escalation ladder and blowing up the water desalination plant, and then simultaneously start striking oil refineries? If this was a sincere request for negotiations, then why are you doing more war crimes with the hopes that they keep fighting? None of it makes sense. Well, the reason why is because no one is invested. No one is interested in negotiations at all.
drones and missiles over the past week, and Pezeshkian promised to stop targeting them unless attacked. Now, Mr. Trump said Iran is no longer, and this is his words, the bully of the Middle East, and is instead the loser of the Middle East, saying they will be for many decades until
Iran, which is being beat to hell, has apologized and surrendered to his Middle East neighbors, a promise that it will not shoot them anymore. This promise was only made because of relentless U.S. and Israeli attack. They were looking to take over and rule the Middle East. It's the first time Iran has ever lost thousands of years to surrounding Middle Eastern countries. They have said, thank you, President Trump. I said, you're welcome. Iran is no longer the bully of the Middle East. They are instead the loser of the Middle East and will be for many decades until they surrender or more likely completely collapse. Today, Iran will be hit very hard under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death.
Surrender or collapse. Warning Iran will, quote, be hit very hard today. Now, the shockwaves caused by the war have already badly shaken the Gulf region, which is known for its wealth and its safety and stability, as its major airports, among the busiest in the world, either remain closed or are offering only limited evacuation flights, keeping thousands of Americans stranded.
Yes, neither side is actually interested in negotiating at all. Like, I do think that America will be invested in negotiating with Iran before Iran will be invested in negotiating with America. That much is clear because Donald Trump has said that already. He lied. You know, America was like, oh shit, this actually didn't work out the way I thought it did after the second day when America was like, Iran wants to negotiate. Maybe I'll do it. Like, there is one side here, however, that definitely does not want to negotiate until complete collapse of the state. That's Israel. This is why I've been saying over and over again throughout this entire process that if you want to understand like what the most like reasonable, the most reasonable, least bloody way of getting out of this quagmire is by cutting off Israel. You have to cut out Israel from the equation. As long as Israel's there, it's not going to happen. Sinatusi reports Israel is escalating towards targeting energy infrastructure in Iran, likely triggering more consequential Iranian attacks on energy facilities in the Persian Gulf and beyond. This will greatly raise the stakes. Israel is doing this despite the cost for U.S. and global economy. Mark Ames says, so much of the U.S.-Israeli targeting seems to be designed to trigger further Iranian escalations. Israel wants to collapse the region, and Trump and Hegseth are gullible, overconfident maniacs. That's why I said, I think they're not just invested in destroying and collapsing Iran. I think they want to destroy. It sounds insane, but I think they just want to destroy the Gulf. They want to have a completely destabilized and very weak Gulf. And by they, I mean Israel. Israel wants it, and America is not considering what the repercussions will look like right now. It's pretty crazy. Because otherwise, why the would you hit the Iranian oil refineries? Like, that's a red line, right? Now, we wait to see if Iran actually retaliates and also follows America and Israel up the escalation ladder.
They're being decimated now. You know, at some point, I don't think there'll be anybody left maybe to say we surrender, but they're being decimated. And
Great. Fantastic. Yeah, we're led by baboons, dude. Washington Post, a classified report by the National Intelligence Council found that even a large-scale assault on Iran would be unlikely to oust the IRI's entrenched establishment, a sobering assessment as the Trump admin raises the specter of an extended military campaign. Reportedly, a video of American HIMARS launched from Bahrain moments ago. That's also new, which you know, increases Bahrain's culpability here. It's not just like hosting American military bases, but directly using Bahrain soil to strike at Iran, which will cause Iran to retaliate against Bahrain in even worse ways. Iraj Masjedi, targeting infrastructure is a serious escalation that will have dire consequences. It is the U.S. that has initiated this dangerous approach, not Iran. AFP, loud explosions have been heard in the Bahraini capital, Manama. American targets are being hit in Erbil now. Ballistic missiles reported over UAE. That was 6 hours ago. Al Jazeera says an Iranian military spokesperson has warned that any U.S. ships entering the Gulf will end up in the bottom of the sea. Lebanese Army Commander General Rudolf Haikal says Israeli landing forces wore military uniforms similar to those of the Lebanese army and used military vehicles and ambulances. This is the Israeli extraction campaign that they did. Israel has been going on side quests, by the way, while all of the world is collapsing around them. where they were like, "Oh, we found one of our soldiers buried in Lebanon. We're gonna go and extract them." And from what I understand, they unironically used Syrian territory to launch this campaign, while also engaging in perfidy and wearing gear that was like similar to the Lebanese military. Hezbollah engaged in an ambush operation and buried them instead. Yeah, I don't know what the Israel is doing, where they're just like, oh yeah, let's use our special forces to go and dig up graves to find this one like Israeli guy. Insanity. But yeah, there's videos from strikes in Dubai. Iran has just fired more ballistic missiles towards Israel. Hezbollah has conducted over 9 operations in the last 2 hours. Maariv, this is the most massive firing carried out by Hezbollah since Tuesday when it entered the fighting against Israel. Channel 12 says constant alarms in the north. I've heard from some settlers saying, okay, if we escape the north as the government is telling us to and evacuate the north, where do we go? Tel Aviv? Tel Aviv is also getting bombed. So while Iran is not pummeling, but peppering Tel Aviv, Hezbollah is dumping munitions in the north. This could also be part of the reason why the Iranian strikes have diminished as well, or at least that's one speculation, that like they're leaning into their regional allies again to the best of their ability. They got a lot of they still have some militia in Iraq, obviously, and they are clearly leaning into Hezbollah. And then you have the Ansar Allah in Yemen that's guarding the Red Sea, and they are seemingly very excited to get in on the action as American naval assets move in their vicinity. Settler platforms claim that occupation army is preparing for Yemen to join the fire tonight, 44 minutes ago. Hezbollah has conducted 19 operations in the last 5 hours. Jesus Christ. Al Jazeera says targeting the U.S. military base near Erbil International, an Iranian missile attack in Negev shortly ago. So Negev has a lot of military assets in the desert. We will most likely never see the impact sites at all. That's where like the Israeli Air Force is, or at least some of their that's where some of the Israeli air assets are. That's where some of their one of their big radars is there in the Negev desert as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on in terms of monitoring the fucking situation. The situation is being monitored a lot. China will well understand that attacks on Iranian oil infrastructure could prompt attacks on other countries, risking oil supplies, says a senior Department of Defense policy advisor last year. Trump also turned around and said the United Kingdom, our once great ally, maybe the greatest of them all, is finally giving serious thought to sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East. That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer. We don't need them any longer, but we will remember we don't need people that join wars after we've already won. President Donald J. Trump. He's posting like a little baby throughout this entire thing. Kid Starver straight up Amira Hogg posting, relevant now that Trump is shit talking the U.S. Yes, I've seen those. Also Trump is doing, this is full Brandon, by the way. We've gone up the brand. So you know how there's like an escalation ladder as far as like, what infrastructure they're targeting, that sort of thing. There's also a Brandon escalation ladder as well. And Trump keeps climbing up that Brandonization ladder. We have gone up to like 75% Brandon right now. It's not like full Brandon because he hasn't hit the Hububba yet. But if he hits the Hububba, that's when you know it's 100% Brandonization complete, right? So there's levels of Brandonization that's taking place. And I would say this is like 75% Brandon, where he is asked on Trump Force One, Air Force One, why he's doing this. Let's hear what he had to say.
They are among the most evil people ever on earth. They cut babies' heads off. They chop women in half. What they did, take a look at October.
They chop women in half like lumberjacks. Decapitating babies, obviously classic Brandon. Okay? That's a classic Brandonian response. When a Brandon gets in a panic state where he has to defend the most glorious nation on earth, the nation state of Israel, the common Brandon response is to say, well, about Hamas, Jack, they kill children, Jack. They chop babies. They cut the babies' heads off. They light them on fire, right? That's what he used to do. Trump is now hitting levels of Brandon we previously did not think he would hit. Okay? That's bin Salman. That's deadass Saudi Arabia. Okay. It's definitely not anything. Like, this is not, there's no evidence for this at all. He just came up with that on the spot. That's why I'm laughing. Because the decapitation of children, we've obviously heard from Brandon before. It's a common, Zionist lie. But this one is new. The chopping women in half is new. He just came up with that on the spot. So I'm gonna give it. There's two separate Brandon responses here. Obviously, like, there's the Brandonization escalation ladder, but then there's also like how many Brandons do you give to this? Because you know how you give like 5 booms. Like, I give this a 4 Brandon. I give this 4 Brandons, and the reason why is because he gets an extra point for adding something new on the spot.
Babies' heads off. They chop women in half. What they did, take a look at October 7th. Take a look at what they've done over the last 47 years. So I know nothing about a desalinization plant other than to say, if they're complaining about a desalinization plant, we complain about the fact that they shouldn't be chopping babies' heads off, okay?
Those babies, they don't need water. No one needs water in Iran, famously. Babies don't need water. So yeah, I don't know if Iran will retaliate by going up the escalation ladder alongside America, but as it stands currently, if they don't do that, it's not like it's going to cause America to back down, as we've seen so far. America and Israel are not backing away from this. So we shall see. They said ages ago, if America bombs their oil refineries, so will they. I know, but President Trump, when asked if he would deploy U.S. ground troops at nuclear sites in Iran on Air Force One, at some point, maybe we will. That would be a great thing. But right now, we're just decimating them. We haven't done it. We haven't gone after it yet, but it's something we could do later on. Also, Donald Trump was asked about the Kurds, and he had some inconsistencies there as well. They were like, so what about the Kurds? And Donald Trump said this.
Some Iranians are concerned that the Kurds will carve out kind of an autonomous region as they did in Syria and Iraq.
We're not looking to the Kurds going in. We're very friendly with the Kurds, as you know, but we don't want to make the war any more complex than it already is. No.
You've ruled that out?
We don't want, I have ruled it out. I don't want the Kurds going in. I don't want to see the Kurds get hurt, get killed. We've had a good relation. They're willing to go in, but I've told them I don't want them to go in.
Do you think the map of Iran will look the same?
The war is complicated enough without getting the Kurds involved.
Yeah, that's because the Kurds are like, yeah, I don't know if we want to do this. You guys kept saying we're doing this, but we're not really doing this. So I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, when asked if the Iranian map would look the same, President Trump said, I don't know. I don't think so. Going in, bro does not know there are Kurds in Iran. Bro, Donald Trump does not know what a cheese... When Donald Trump is asked about Kurds, he literally thinks they're talking about cheese, okay? He does not know anything. The reason why I think they don't want... Like, Israel wants to push the Kurdish angle, and it's not just for Iran. Israel wants to push the Kurdish angle because they want Turkey involved. And Turkey doesn't want the Kurds to be involved at all, because remember, that's the bordering region with the Turkish-Iranian border as well. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan says he asked Secretary Rubio about reporting that the USG was looking to arm Iranian Kurdish militia to attack Iran's security forces. Fidan says Rubio told him that he had no such intentions or efforts.
Bu konuyu açıkçası ben Amerika Dışişleri Bakanı Sayın Marco Rubio ile yaptığım telefon görüşmesinde de ele aldım. Yani böyle bir durumun olduğunun emareleri var, söylentileri var. Yani bu konuda kendilerinin böyle bir
Update to this from Trump's gaggle on Air Force One. Trump says he ruled out having Kurds to join the Iran war. says they are willing, but war is complicated enough. I heard on Al Jazeera that they had stated that they were willing to go in, but only if they were deployed with American soldiers. Yes. There are many different Kurdish troops in the region. There are Kurds in Iran, some of which literally fight alongside the IRGC, inside of the IRGC. Okay? There are some Kurdish groups that are separationists that want to build an autonomous, like Iranian Kurdistan inside of Iran. There are also a lot of Kurds outside of Iran in the bordering areas. Some of them want to fight alongside America and Israel, but need additional assurances such as aerial cover, air support, create a no-fly zone over Iranian airspace. America has not been able to give them that assurance. Some Kurdish militias in the region don't want to touch it at all because they're like, what the fuck do you mean? We saw what happened with Rojava, right? And some said, understandably, that they would go in only if American troops are going in with them. Okay? With Iran, they've finally tried to dominate a country that actually does have the capabilities of making it hurt. That's it. That's the issue. Iran has the capabilities of making it hurt. And that's precisely the reason why I'm hearing a lot of copium coming from the American side, like unlimited copium, shit like this.
What has happened? Let's list it out. So we took out the Iranian regime leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, and then 40 of the top leaders. We degraded their military. You can see we've been laying that out all day, all morning. We've because they've decided to attack their neighbors, and we've kind of unified them behind us. So that's kind of worked in our favor to some degree. We've outed fake allies, Spain, England, right? Why should we ever help them again? This is a way to reveal that. We talked a little bit about the insurance situation for ships coming across the Straits of Hormuz. So there's that angle as well, which is very interesting.
Oh, that's an interesting angle. That's the whole game. That's not an angle, dumbass. That's the ballpark. What the That's the full scope of the issue. Okay? Oh, it's just the Strait of Hormuz. What about the Gay of Hormuz? We could just do that, right? It's like, why don't we just build a canal through the other side of the mountainous side of Bahrain? Why don't we just do that? And then problem solved. I don't get it. Why don't they just carry the oil barrels to the other side, to the Red Sea side? Oh, wow. Thank you. It's just, I had not, years and years of planning, and no one had thought about that. Thank God. Thank God you're on it. We got the brightest minds here. So, it's idiotic. We're a nation of idiots, run by idiots, and they're bloodthirsty. They're monstrous idiots, and they have a nuclear arsenal. It's a devastating turn of events. It was inevitable that it would get here, right? Meanwhile, $1 to $2 billion every single day just to keep up this operation. The costs are going to mount too. On top of that, the lost assets that will never be recovered, the lost assets that will never be rebuilt, the amount of money we spent on it, all the eyes and ears in that region, right? That Iran has effectively destroyed, permanently destroyed. All the radars, all the early advanced warning systems, knocked them the out, which has been so effective, for the record. It has been so effective. Because everyone was like, why is Iran hitting all the Gulf countries? What? Aren't you guys all Muslims? Like, why are the Muslims fighting one another again? They must be so barbaric and so stupid. It's like, no, dumbass. They were literally cratering the Bahrain naval base on the one side. On the other side, they were literally taking out all of the American radar systems. And now you have a situation where Israel cannot even warn their citizens when ballistic munitions are launched in the direction of Tel Aviv. So this cost is an incredibly conservative estimate because this cost is not even factoring in all of the other operational costs. It's not factoring in like the full scope of the damage, right? So these guys like, but even then it's devastating, right? Even then it's devastating, especially when you factor in the whole Elon Musk Doge shit, right? Remember when a bunch of teenagers working for Elon cut the funding to Sesame Street a year ago because America was on the verge of financial collapse or something? What happened now? Maybe you are underestimating a FIFA Peace Prize awarded young man. It's true. Yeah, IDF officially came out and said that they can no longer guarantee it will send alerts for missiles before the sirens sound. Iran Customs Service, is there a problem with the war you ordered? Yeah. So what's up? And now someone's saying Ali Larijani just confirmed that they captured some American soldier. Oh boy. Oh boy. You called it. Balkanization will happen. No. Will balkanization happen? We know that that's their goal. We know that's been their goal. I hope that every single Iranian that was coming in to my chat from either just freshly left Tehran or living in the diaspora will now understand exactly what I was talking about. This was always the goal because this was Israel's goal. And Donald Trump is Israel's bitch, okay? He doesn't know anything. He doesn't understand anything. He does not comprehend anything at all. He just knows, I will give you money and then I can build golf courses in your country. That's the only thing he understands. So someone like Benjamin Netanyahu, especially being like Trump is like clearly one of those guys who's like, you know, Jews, they're good with numbers, like that type of dude, like a philo-Semitic reactionary boomer who like, you know, thinks you got to have a Jew in your corner, like that type of guy. So Benjamin Netanyahu comes in and he's like, well, I don't trust you, but you know, you're probably smart. You got some smart guys, right? And Benjamin Netanyahu comes in and is literally like, you know, he comes in and he's like, oh, yes, we will destroy the Iranian state and you will be a legend. They tried to kill you. They tried to kill you so many times. And also you can take the oil and we'll build Trump Tower in Tehran. And you will be celebrated as a legend for doing the thing that all of the previous presidents were too afraid to do, like Biden. You know who would never have done this? Barack Obama. Okay? And then Trump hears that and goes, all right, great. Look at how I was able to flex my might on Venezuela, right? Look at how I was able to do that. Boom, boom, boom. Seems smart. All these other dickheads around me are telling me this is a great idea. Lindsey Graham is literally getting the youngest boy slaves you have ever seen, freshly imported to his mansion from Tel Aviv, okay? Lindsey Graham flew to Israel 500 times, bro. Like, literally, he just kept going to Israel over and over again in the buildup to this goddamn armada. What the was he doing there? Oh, you don't have to speculate what the he was doing there because Wall Street Journal actually wrote an article about it. Isn't it crazy, by the way, that like 3, 4, 5 years ago, if you were to be like, the American government is like directly being influenced by a foreign nation state by the name of Israel to do insane shit, people would look at you and go, what are you, Pat Buchanan? Get the out of here, you goddamn anti-Semite. I would have probably been like, all right, buddy. Maybe a little bit far-fetched. Now they're dabbing on us, okay? Now they're dabbing on us, bro. They are dabbing on us. It's Dab City, okay? Like Matthew Petty posted this, but it's crazy. Wall Street Journal's reporting. To help make the case on Iran, Graham traveled several times to Israel in recent weeks, meeting with members of the country's intelligence agency. They'll tell me things our own government won't tell me, he said. He spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, coaching him on how to lobby the president for action. Israeli spies coached a U.S. senator to talk to the president into war with Iran. Sounds like an insane conspiracy theory, except that the senator is bragging about it. Like, it's literally turning into, like, Israel opening up the protocols of Zion and being like, what is in here? Like, it's the same principle behind, like, the blood libel shit, right? When like people who want to defend Israel would be like, oh, that's blood libel if you say Israel's killing children. If you tell me Israel's killing children, you're doing blood libel. It's like, well, I'm seeing the children that Israel's killing with my own two fucking eyes. What do you mean it's blood libel? Like this literally is an anti-Semitic conspiracy, except it's no longer an anti-Semitic conspiracy. It's just reality. It's just like real thing that is being written in American newspapers, and it's being mass produced, mass disseminated for every American to read and understand. And seemingly, because we are unironically cattle, there's nothing we can do about it. Everyone's just like, what are you going to do? It's crazy. Now, I will say this, of course, make no mistake. If you're confused about what I'm saying here, like, there is an end out of this. It's still a phone call, okay? It's still a phone call. That's all it takes. But no one seems to want to make that phone call. By the way, if you're confused, like, I mean, he literally said it before as well. Here it is. Here's Lindsey Graham.
You ready? Thumbs up back there? Thumbs up from everybody, okay? Well, I'm Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. I'm back. I come here every 2 weeks where I need to or not. So why did I come this time? To put a fine point of where we're at as a world regarding the Iranian regime.
What do you think of Israel? What do you think will happen if Israel falls? Are you serious? Are you baiting? Like, objectively, if the Zionist occupational state no longer exists, it will be better for everyone, including the current Israeli citizens, okay? Because the reality of the matter is, while a lot of these guys are bloodthirsty and hopped up on unlimited Greater Israel Project ambitions, things change, okay? Things change. And people have the capacity to adapt to new environments. We are very resilient, okay? How can you exist in a world right now in Israel as a Zionist Jewish Israeli where bombs are constantly flying overhead? Don't you want to live in a world where that doesn't exist? Wouldn't that be a much better way to go about it, like peaceful coexistence? So yes, the world would objectively be a better place for not only the victims of American and Israeli occupation and American and Israeli genocide, but it would even be a better place for people that are living there, okay? And for the most reactionary forces, the neo-Nazis, well, okay? Won't nukes fall before the state falls because of external war? Yeah, I mean, there's that side of it too. I don't even want to think about that. But yeah, Israel strikes Iranian oil infrastructure in major escalation. So like, that's where we're at. That's what's going on right now. That's what's happening right now. Isn't that insane? I always thought they had Lindsey doing some crazy stuff on video, but at this point, I think he just loves Netanyahu and being evil that much. Look at the smile on this man. He's so happy. What a freak. Yeah, no, the Blood Boys, the ritualistic sacrifice of children for Lindsey Graham to like probably suck the blood of is just extra profit, right? It's like it's a cherry on the top. Yeah, he is a truly evil demon, except he also gets to have, little boy slaves, I assume. So you don't have to blackmail someone into doing something they want to do anyway. Lindsey Graham does this stuff because he thinks it's awesome. Yeah, I agree. Oh, dude, I agree. Lindsey Graham with like Israel is kind of like, the average Republican with like NRA funding, right? Like the NRA doesn't need to give that guy money for that guy to be like, I love guns. I want to a gun. I want to put a gun up my asshole. Okay. I f my gun every night. Like there are people who legitimately live like that. Okay. And the NRA still gives them money, but they don't technically need to, right? I'm very sure I've seen him come in his pants while talking about war on cable news. Yeah. Lindsey Graham is a psycho. I mean, this is his goal. This has been his dream.
Sources telling us they believe it is possible American forces are responsible for the attack because they were conducting strikes in the vicinity of the school at the same time. Retired Master Sergeant Wes Bryant.
What are we doing here, man? Everybody in the world knows this already. I can't believe that there's like any confusion about how the school got bombed, which literally Pete Hegseth came out and showed their strike targets, and the school was smack dab in the middle of it. So yeah, we know that the Americans bombed the school. Trump can deny it all day, every day. Everybody knows America bombed the school. Trump denied it and said it was Iran. Yeah, well, no one gives a shit because no one believes him because he's a psycho. Bro, the funniest thing was Israel immediately was like, this isn't on us. I know you think we love to kill children, but this time it was not on us. Believe me, it was the Americans. It was not me. I know. I wish it was us. We love killing children at schools. These are terror children. But this time it was not me.
Here, while oil prices, which fuel economies across the Gulf, also continue to surge. Now, leaders in the region are warning of a wider disruption to energy exports that may trigger a major downturn in the global economy. 1 week into this war, the battlefield is still expanding faster than diplomacy. And the question facing leaders across the Gulf and beyond is whether the next phase brings escalation or any meaningful effort to step back from the brink. Kelly.
Imtiaz, thank you very much. President Trump on Friday approved a new $151 million arms sale to Israel. Now, that deal bypassed congressional approval after Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued an emergency waiver. This morning, the president will attend the dignified transfer of the 6 Americans killed in the opening days of the war with Iran. CBS News' Nicole Killian is traveling with the president in Doral, Florida. Nicole, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Kelly. President Trump is addressing Caribbean and Latin American leaders here at his resort in.
Yeah, this is also incredibly stupid. The Donald Trump shield of the Americas shit that he's doing with like all the compradors, all the right wing fascists in Latin America. That's the other play that they're going for. Latin America obviously is like much easier to take control over in comparison to Iran, obviously, because like Iran has spent a good deal of resources for this exact moment, and that's why they can put up a stronger fight, as opposed to like all of the other Latin American countries like Cuba and clearly like Venezuela. Venezuela was a really important moment for Donald Trump. It caused them to feel emboldened. That was when, Marco Rubio's pressure actually worked. Speaking of pressure, by the way, Ali Darjiani says some American soldiers have been captured. They are lying that 5 to 6 American soldiers have been killed. Later, under the pretext of an accident, they will inflate the number of casualties. He also said, when the enemy attacks us from bases in the region, we respond, and we will continue to respond. This is our right and a standing policy. Regional countries must either prevent the U.S. from using their territory against Iran, or we will have no choice but to do it ourselves. Taba, a small resort town on Egypt's border with Israel, has become a transit hub for Israelis and foreign nationals seeking to leave the country or return home after Israel closes airspace amidst its ongoing war with Iran. There you go. That's a little Egypt update for you. How are Republicans still in favor of this war? Wouldn't the war... how are the Republicans still in favor of this war? They're cattle. They're cattle. They're cattle. They're cattle. They're in a cult. MAGA is a cult. The Republican voter base is a cult. Okay, they went from unpopular, they went from saying, no, war in Iran is something that we do not want, this is unpopular, to actually we love it now that Trump has done it and he said he likes it, so we like it too. That's it. There's no other way to read it. They're just cattle. And yeah, there's no reason to read it as anything but that. The gray NPC chip meme is so real when it comes to Republicans. Like they swapped the isolationism chip with the we like war now chip. Okay. And just like that, in a matter of less than a week, they turned around and decided they like war with Iran. Make America great again is make Israel great again. I got the firmware update. I love that.
As part of the Shield of the Americas summit. Then he will attend the dignified transfer with the First Lady and members of his cabinet to pay his respects.
By the way, in Iran, we're doing very well.
1 week after the U.S. and Israel launched joint military strikes against Iran, President Trump gave the ongoing operation high marks.
Somebody said, how would you score it from 0 to 10? I said, I'd give it a 12 to a 15. Their army is gone. They're just about, look, their navy is gone.
The president ramped up pressure on Tehran Friday, declaring in a Truth Social post there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. But Iran shows little sign of backing down. Multiple sources tell CBS News Russia is providing Iran with intelligence about U.S. positions in the region. In an interview airing Sunday on 60 Minutes, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told CBS News chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett the U.S. is tracking everything.
Does this put U.S. personnel in any more danger than they otherwise would be?
Well,
the Russian involvement.
No one's putting us in danger. We're putting the other guys in danger. That's our job. So we're not concerned about that. We mitigate it as we need to. Our commanders factor all of this, but the only ones that need to be worried right now are Iranians that think they're going to live.
The White House hasn't put a timetable on the war, but indicated it believes its objectives could be met within 4 to 6 weeks. And the president made clear he wants a say in selecting who will lead Iran, saying in an interview to CNN, it's going to work very easily. It's going to work like it did in Venezuela.
He wants to take an interest in pursuing who the next leader of the Iranian country is going to be, and that has yet to be seen, and the president is discussing it and deliberating it.
In that same interview, the president also cautioned that Cuba could fall soon.
Yeah, that's the other side of this dumbass story. It is wild that Donald Trump thinks that he could just like, I don't know, become one of the special 88 clerics that gets to pick the next Ayatollah somehow. Like he just like fundamentally doesn't understand Iranian society. He doesn't understand how the governance structure works. He doesn't understand the Iranian capabilities. And you can kind of be on autopilot if you're America for the most part. You can be run by like a bloodthirsty madman. Especially because what are people supposed to do? America gets to do whatever it wants, right? Until an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Iran is the immovable object. So now there is this clash. Trump is still operating on, a previous understanding that he gets to do whatever he wants, except he doesn't get to do whatever he wants here. Obviously,
as we
like
achieve
I said, over and over again, they're in the oh shit, Iran has hands actually moment in their calculations.
In addition to addressing today's summit, ousted Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is also set to deliver remarks here in her new role as special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. Adriana?
Nicole, thank you so much.
The Russian ambassador to the UK has told Sky News that his country...
Oh, this is also really funny. Russian ambassador to the UK says Russia is not neutral in the Iran war. There's also that too.
Not neutral in the Iran war. Andrei Kelin says the action being taken against Tehran is simply unfair, and Russia is supportive of Iran. He was speaking to Sir Trevor Phillips.
Is Russia going to come to the aid of Iran in any way? Because Russia and Iran have been allies. The Iranians have supplied expertise and material to Russia. Would you, for example, consider supplying Iran with munitions, drones, and so on?
You know that we have all sympathies with Iran. They are our neighbors. They are historically, we have had always very good relationship with Iran. But for the moment, as it has been announced yesterday, Iran didn't ask for any assistance or help.
And if they were to ask, Russia would consider that request seriously and make assistance available?
Well, you know, we are not only sympathetic with Iran, but we are also sympathetic with the countries of Persian Gulf, with all Emirates. We have interest in all of them, including Iran, and the best will be, of course, to stop immediately any aggression over there. I know any aggression, any implementation of force over there, and to come back to the peaceful solution, negotiated and diplomatic solutions.
So this is interesting because most of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries have come out in support of the Israel and American action. Is Russia going to be neutral in this?
We are not neutral. No, we are not neutral. We are supportive to Iran, of course, and we consider, as I have said, very negatively what is being done. And besides, we do not understand this logic. It is the logic at the moment of Western countries and of the others is that Iran is to blame for everything. But no one is saying that US and Israel has initiated an attack against Iran, and Iran is only responding to this attack. So this is simply unfair.
Durante estos últimos días.
Yeah.
Habréis escuchado decir aquí.
Hold on. My shit ass gamer laptop is having a hard time with all the tabs. We got to wait it out. We got to wait it out until it fixes itself. Yes, PSOD. Yeah, PSOD. Bro leaked an empty notepad? No, it's a tab that's just like won't load. Time to kill some tabs? I can't even kill any of the tabs because it just shut down entirely. Okay, we got to reopen them. I don't know where the other, I can't find the other tab. The last tab that I clicked on, which was like, which was about how can you see this is anything but a big you. Where you at, bro? This is my new house, dude. I bought another house. I bought a house on top of my house. You know what I'm saying? Houses for days, baby. Europe spent 3 years and hundreds of billions of euros solving its Russian gas problem and succeeded to replace the pipeline dependency on a hostile state with maritime dependency on a strait that at a different hostile state just closed. Yeah. America is, once again, America is literally over Europe. Okay? Anytime America moves in the unstable ways that it moves, Europe gets in the process. And it's so funny because they never learned this lesson for some weird reason. It's really hard to read recent events as anything other than an enormous you to a Europe that has essentially done everything the U.S. asked of it. Reward for total capitulation on Russian inputs is being kicked in the face and called a vassal slave. Yes, because that is the reality. And if Greenland didn't help you wake up to that reality, nothing will. Oh, also, the thing I wanted to show you is, you know how Russia said, yes, we are not impartial in the Iran war. We are, on the side of Iran. Here's what Donald Trump said instead.
Mr. President, can I ask you what Peter asked you a question yesterday? He said it wasn't the right time in that event, but he was asking whether you have indications of whether Russia is supporting Iran somehow in this.
No, I haven't had that. I have had no indication of that whatsoever. If they are, they're not doing a very good job because Iran is not doing too well.
They will start learning their lesson. Local elections happening in Germany and some big states like Bavaria. Yeah, except the lesson that they will learn is we must become more fascist. That's the unfortunate side of this like instability. Oh, you know what it is, guys, actually? Why are we in this predicament? Not because we are vassals to America, but because brown people are in our borders, inside of our borders. They've infiltrated our borders. They've penetrated our borders. We must get more ruthless towards the migrants. I hope that's not the case. But I do feel like anytime there's anytime there's like economic instability in Europe, they turn around and go, "Oh, yeah, let's hit the migrant extinction button harder." And it's hilarious because those who actually take advantage of the culture war phenomena and the anti-immigrant sentiment are those who are even more servile to NATO and even more servile to American interests. They're literally saying it's MAGA time. They're in Europe LARPing like they're, American MAGA supporters. Guy Laron on Twitter posted a thread that vindicates your theory about Trump's Gulf strategy. Already the case, CDU closed integration courses. As a German voting tomorrow, I can confirm you are completely right. Yeah. It's so funny. The more right-wingers become pro-America, the more the rest of the country becomes anti-America. But what they fail to comprehend is that when right-wingers win, they become even more pro-America. I don't know how much more vassalized Europe could get. But it's like, it's not even a secret that the European far-right movement is basically tailoring its movement, not from historic fascism, even though there is some elements of historic fascism in it, but the modern version of fascism, which is MAGA. It's very obvious. Anyway, Spain has been getting a lot of, Turkish love out there for its statements, not only on Palestine, but its statements against Israel, its statements against America. Pedro Sanchez has successfully PSO'd me, or however you say PSO'd, however you say it. He PSO'd me. Okay, he did. He's so handsome and so charming, and I am so desperate for anyone to speak out against America that I will absolutely gladly volunteer myself. PSO'd.
Escuchado decir aquello de que España está sola. No.
He says, we are not alone. Those were the same people who told us when we recognized the state of Palestine and then it was everyone else that we were alone. No, we are not alone. We are the first. We are the first. I'll tell you more. We're seeing it already. We're seeing how many other governments are already taking a stand against this war. Those who are going to be left alone are the ones who defend the indefensible. So I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because he's like, this is the center left, right? And they've done a better job of reading the room than the Labour Party has. But it's good because this actually does give confidence to other left parties in Europe to also use the instability and the anger that people have to cut a new lane for themselves. The Greens in the UK are doing this in the absence of Labour's refusal to read the room. So we shall see. They aren't doing well in the polls, though. We'll see. We'll see how well they do. Hasan Reactions is one of the best ones in the React channel.